Good evening and welcome to the news at 10 in our headlines this half hour. A senior World Bank official briefed the Vice President about the operational modalities of implementing a multi-million-dollar maternal and child nutrition and health result project. A major boost for the health and environment sectors as a fresh batch of Peace Corps volunteers prepare to use their skills to develop the country. Harvesting at President Jammeh's Vision 2016 fields in Pacha attracts volunteers from near and neighboring villages in Casamas. And counting the cost of climate change and depleted beaches, Senegal's coastal villages are hit hard by a decline in tourist arrivals. Well, viewers, those are your headlines. With me, WINIFRED NICOL. Thanks for joining us once again. The Vice President, Her Excellency Dr. Aissatou Seydi, on Thursday had an audience with the Implementation Committee of the Maternal and Child Nutrition and Health Result Project, together with officials of the World Bank, led by the Executive Director of the National Nutrition Agency. Shortly after the closed-door meeting with Vice President Jai Seydi, Dr. Rifat Hassan, Health Specialist and Tax Manager, World Bank, disclosed the purpose of his visit at State House.
Maternal and Child Nutrition and Health Results Project. It's a $13.68 million project. The objective of the project is to increase utilization of primary health care and community nutrition services. So in essence, it's really about reaching women and children with the health and nutrition services that they need. Well, our mission is here for another week and a half. There's a lot of work to be done on implementation, but we're making very good progress on the different aspects. And we're also here to share some of the initial results that we're seeing. So we'll continue to work for the rest of the mission with the Project Implementation Committee, which is composed of both NANA and the Ministry of Health, to troubleshoot, see how we can support. And we'll also be going to the field next week to see how things are going at health facility level and with communities directly. The Vice President, Her Excellency, has been very supportive of the topic of nutrition and gender for many, many years. And our implementation agency is the National Nutrition Agency in collaboration with the Ministry of Health. National Nutrition Agency is under the directive of Her Excellency the Vice President. So we wanted to come and give her an update of where things are, highlight some of the successes, some of the remaining hurdles, and to thank her for her continued support to the project and for the topic at large. She is very knowledgeable about the topic, has a very good handle on how the different pieces fit together, and she has again reiterated her support for continuing on this work. The name of
World Bank officials speaking to our Aissatou Keita shortly after meeting the Vice President at State House. Meanwhile, His Excellency Mr. Andre Jati, outgoing Indonesian ambassador to the Gambia, bid farewell to the Vice President, Her Excellency Dr. Aissatou Seydi, at her office in State House. The outgoing ambassador, who was based in Dakar, served for 4 years. A group of volunteers from neighboring villages in the Central River region and Casamas on Tuesday began harvesting President Jammeh's Babili Mansa's Vision 2016 fields in Pacha. Some of the volunteers who spoke to GRTS expressed their love and admiration for President Jammeh Babili Mansa and his Pan-African stance. The work was witnessed by CRR top echelons and farm coordinators. Top echelons of the Jammeh Foundation for Peace Hospital, development partners, and several individuals are preparing for a grand fundraising gala dinner scheduled to take place on Saturday. Well, Abubakar Kamara tells us more on the history and momentous occasion that followed the birth of this humanitarian foundation.
The moment was the year of 1999, and that special gathering of President Jammeh, perceived to be one of his greatest gifts to the Gambian people, was born.
We, the members of the launching committee of the Dr. Alhaji Yahya AJJ Jammeh Foundation, would like first of all to return thanks to His Excellency the President for his vision and foresight in coming up with the idea of establishing a foundation, which foundation will particularly address the social service needs of the Gambian people.
Indeed, the Jammeh Foundation for Peace, we all know, is a people's foundation. Every Gambian and non-Gambian alike, resident in the Gambia, all Gambians outside of this country are equity shareholders of the foundation. His Excellency the President set it up so as to help the most needy in society, so as to help communities at the lower level. And that is very essence of the foundation.
An event of an evening episode was that gala dinner, giving birth to what is called the Dr. Alhaji Yahya AJJ Jammeh Foundation. Now Jammeh Foundation for Peace.
You know by its name, it's Jammeh Foundation for Peace. Because we do know that there cannot be any peace without development. That is why His Excellency the President concentrates on development to ensure that there's peace and stability. The right to development indeed is a human right.
That mark of commitment, quite popular in ambition, has become a testimony of its own pride. Fading years of relentless service to humanity and Gambians by far in charity.
What has he done over the years? Through his foundation, he has assisted, as I said, the most needy, particularly at the lower levels, in the areas of health, education, agriculture, enterprise development, and social groups such as women and youth, among others, and the disabled.
The setting up of the hospital in 2001 was the brainchild of the president, who is the founder, the architect, and also the financier of the hospital when it was a charity.
Its current status quo metamorphosing from 4 cardinal principles of education, health, agriculture, and enterprise development has become a success after 16 years of operations.
The hospital actually sprang from the vintage of the former health post established by the Minister of Health years ago that goes to look after pregnant women and under 5 children in the Bundung catchment area. This rudimentary health post is now established into a full-fledged hospital.
Its achievement, quite distinct to impact on those seeking for both medical services and educational support, has stood over the period as a testimony for its humanitarian gesture.
Because Jammeh Foundation ni nata je ike welcome ule andum fana ike ja ike topato nyame wala yadina ngalo pitano de bren nata.
Before I was wondering where to get money to study my course, but honestly I'm really grateful to President Jammeh.
The latest Peace Corps volunteers, numbering 33, have been sworn in on Wednesday to serve in the health, environment, and agricultural sectors of the country. The volunteers, as Khadija Tujalo reports, has already completed 8 weeks of pre-service training and are ready to serve 2 years as Peace Corps volunteers in different parts of the country.
To foster an understanding of the people of the Gambia
and the proud tradition of Peace Corps' legacy.
This marks the completion of 8 weeks of intensive pre-service training, and this latest group of Peace Corps volunteers are ready to share their knowledge, experiences with the communities they are set to serve during the course of their 2-year term in the Gambia. U.S. Peace Corps Country Director Jennifer Goethe hailed the partnership, which dated back to 1967, while stating her determination to make a positive impact on the lives of others.
As representatives of the U.S. Peace Corps, I encourage you to approach this opportunity with professionalism and demonstrated commitment 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You're always on the job as a Peace Corps volunteer. It's a great responsibility, but I really have no doubt that each of you will rise to the occasion and exceed expectations.
She urged volunteers to take advantage of the opportunity to develop lasting relationships with host families, counterparts, communities, as well as schools and the Peace Corps family. Delivering the keynote address, the Director of Health Services, Dr. Samba Cisse, on behalf of the Health Minister, underscored the important role of Peace Corps volunteers in key sectors of the country's economy.
The Peace Corps Health Project seeks to improve health status and quality of life, particularly of women and children, by promoting maternal, neonatal, and child health, raising awareness for malaria prevention and control, educating our communities on appropriate nutrition practices, and promoting positive personal hygiene and environmental sanitation practices. The Peace Corps Environment Agriculture Program aims to address food security and natural resource management issues in the Gambia by assisting and supporting rural communities to improve garden production and to sustainably increase food production through the adoption of improved agricultural practices and crop diversification.
Dr. Cisse assured the gathering of his ministries and by extension government's continuous commitment to nurturing the long-standing and fruitful relationship between Banjul and Washington. The Peace Corps Programming and Training Manager made an eloquent speech on the ethics and benefits of volunteerism.
Most Gambians are hardworking, talented individuals already. Your role is to listen to them, perhaps broaden their vision a bit, and then help their talents and self-assurance bloom even more fully.
And as a mark of proving their newfound skills, the volunteers took time to showcase their talent learned from the pre-service training, which included general competency in some of the Gambia's main local languages.
As Peace Corps volunteers, we will partner with these communities to help improve health and environmental standards. We bring with us diverse knowledge and backgrounds, and we are excited to share these skills with our communities, counterparts, and families.
This group is the latest batch of Peace Corps volunteers who are expected to enter communities to help address priorities of the Health Ministry, Environment and Agriculture for the next 2 years. Khadija Tujalo, Grts News.
The Institute for Human Rights and Development in Africa, a network that is out to educate, build capacity for stakeholders in human rights, recently conducted a 3-day seminar for law enforcement agencies in Basse, Upper River Region, Aissatou Jatta reports.
The training was spearheaded by the Institute for Human Rights and Development in Africa in collaboration with the British Embassy in the Gambia. The training was aimed at building the capacities of relevant stakeholders for the effective execution of their duties and brought together law enforcement agents who were trained on human rights issues.
We at the IHRDA, the Institute for Human Rights and Development in Africa, we think it's very important for law enforcement officers in the Gambia to have a good understanding of the human rights standards to which they should be held in their work. And we think that if they have a good knowledge of the human rights standards that are applicable to their work, it will trickle down to the basic citizen, to the average citizen of the Gambia and the average resident of the Gambia in the way that these officers treat people in the course of their work. That's why we're doing this.
Oludayo further urged participants to apply and share the knowledge gained from the training. Officer in charge, Police Human Rights Unit, commended the organizers of the seminar for their support in raising the awareness of officers on this important issue. This, he added, will help beneficiaries in their various departments. He went on to urge the participants to make good use of this opportunity.
For those of us who are opportune to be part of this workshop, should take it seriously. Take it seriously and do at least two things. One, use the knowledge that you've gained here to your daily activities. That is the knowledge that you will acquire. Use it in your daily activities. And secondly, if you go back to your various stations, try to make sure you share with those who are not opportune to be here.
Johannes Boybeng Baidu, Acting Dean, Faculty of Law, University of the Gambia, in his presentation outlined some of the key areas of the three-day deliberation. Participants spoke of their delight being part of the program, which they say will help them improve their overall understanding of the subject.
Would help us to carry out our duties as police officers. And we hope, as I said, we gain a lot of knowledge as far as we have presenters from all over other institutions that have came to teach us how we should go by police officers when human rights problems come.
It helps us a lot to familiarize ourselves with the criminal law, human rights laws. I mean, it enhances our daily operations. We know, and we're going to implement what we have achieved from this training. I mean, as immigration officers, we are not very much familiar with certain laws. But then, with this training, it helped us a lot. We achieve a lot of this, I mean, from this training, to be honest with you. And we're going to extend the message, not only gaining that, I mean, message, but we have to relay that message to our fellow, I mean, officers as well.
This is the third in series of trainings conducted by the Institute of Human Rights and Development in Africa, which is aimed at ensuring that the country's law enforcement officers are fully equipped with the requisite knowledge about human rights issues. Reporting for Grts News, I am Aisa Tujata.
100 officers have been promoted to different ranks, ranging from assistant superintendent, chief superintendent to superintendent. The newly promoted officers were chosen through a rigorous process by the Office of the Inspector General in collaboration with the Ministry of Interior. The colorful event, which brought together senior police chiefs from different units of the Gambia Police Force, was held at the police headquarters in Banjul. The program was chaired by the Interior Minister Usman Sonko. GRTS's Famara Kanya attended the event, and he tells us more.
2 decades, the Gambia Police Force is moving and expanding its wings to becoming a professional force. There had been a series of promotions within its various units. These latest showcased the promotion of 100 officers to 3 different superior ranks. The officers rejoice with friends and loved ones on their new promotion. They will serve as new leaders in their various policing units. Assistant Superintendent Ami Kamara has served the Gambia Police Force for more than 3 decades now. She is among the many that had a similar experience. The Office of the Inspector General of Police has created the enabling environment for personnel of the Gambia Police Force to excel, as the number of graduates in the force continues to increase per recruitment.
Their elevation is by no mistake, nor is it based on favoritism. Hence, I want them to consider it as an appreciation, revocation of their management delights on the enthusiasm they have demonstrated in the execution of their respective duties.
Expectations on the performance of the new officers are high. However, the Interior Minister Usman Sonko advised them to maintain discipline and dedication to their duties. Corruption and ill response to duties, two major challenges that the police community continues to battle. Such a challenge is attributed to the manner in which some officers conduct their duties. Minister Sonko encouraged the new officers to maintain loyalty, respect the rule of law, and live up to expectation.
You didn't go to the market to buy these ranks. You worked for them. And that is why the command felt you deserve these ranks, and they gave it to you. Since it has been given to you, you must endeavor to work harder. And in so doing, you must carry each other. We are not competing. Yes, we are competing in the sense that we want to be the best. But even with that, we must complement each other's effort.
The promotion means an increase in responsibilities for the new officers. The Office of the Inspector General of Police will introduce some new ranks next year to widen the promotional gap. And from now on, elevation of officers from one rank to another will be based on merits and not longevity. For GRTS News, I am Famarakani.
A reputable non-governmental organization has decided to take it upon themselves to capacitize Gambian women. Several Gambian women were recently exposed to vulnerable techniques on entrepreneurship. Kumaba picks up the rest of that story.
The Gambian women continue to increase the progress growth of the nation with the creation of a critical mass of highly competent and skilled human base for the women for improved economic growth and national development. It is for these reasons and others that Concern International has taken the drive to empower and capacitize these women in skills acquisition.
Thanks to their determination and hard work, they were able to achieve this.
This group of graduates further demonstrate the drive to provide this vital sector to help them play a key role in the country's economic development. The program is also aimed at providing beneficiaries with valuable income generation, as well as learn various entrepreneurial skills meant to prepare them in the job market.
It is a well-known fact, and it cannot be overemphasized, that skills training is one of the most critical and important interventions that any nation, for that matter, can make for women, for that matter, to promote women's empowerment.
Women empowerment is said to be instrumental, and this graduation is expected to set these women in the right direction to improve their livelihood.
Women empowerment is very dear to the government of this country. Most of you are aware that there are so many international and national instruments that have been ratified in the National Parliament, purely just to empower women.
We have seen is very positive, because what Concern International has done here today has given us, a mindset that is positive, a mindset that is right, a mindset that has prepared us, to face the challenges in life, a mindset, that has prepared us to get into the economic venture, that would help us to provide our own needs and also the needs of our families.
Concern International is a non-profitable organization engaged in human rights issues and women empowerment.
We know one thing, that Concern International major on human rights issues and then women empowerment, and then we believe that empowering women is to empower a nation. So that's what we are here for, and then we look forward to see what we can do to blaze the trail in the Gambia here to make sure that we support women in whatever they do.
Certificates were awarded to women, and the organization has also assured to support them in their drive to sustain their skills. Other speakers, among them the Alcalde of Latrikunda, Germany, Amadou Fall, thanked the Councillor for his foresight and the organization for the support they continue to render to Gambian women. Kumbaba, GRTS.
We will be back with news from outside the Gambia after this break. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Coming hard on the heels of the climate change conference in Paris, Senegal's coastal areas are reeling from the effect of climate. Officials are now getting more and more worried about the way pristine beaches are seriously being threatened. We have more in this report by DWTV.
Slowly but surely, and eroding parts of the Senegalese coast. The impact is clearly visible in the village of Bani. Locals say the danger affects their daily lives. This is my home. My family and I can't sleep well anymore because we practically live on the beach. What happened to the other houses will eventually affect us. Encroaching tides and storm surges are causing more and more damage. Half of this 500-kilometer-long strip of coast is a high-risk zone for erosion. Experts say the threatened area is expanding steadily. Authorities have been trying to fight back for years. Since 2007, there have been strong swells that have caused enormous problems in the Cholen neighborhood, including its cemetery and homes. The government of Senegal put provisional measures in place with army engineers setting up stone blocks for interim protection. They're hoping to find consistent funding in the future. The idea is to protect the beaches from more destruction, to support tourism, which is the country's second biggest source of foreign revenue. The number of visitors has dropped dramatically in the last few years. Hotel owners fear for their livelihoods. A tourist who books a beach holiday and then finds no beach will lodge a complaint. There are no more clients. That's what's happening here. There's no need to say in the long term because we've already reached the end. The nearby town of Rufisque is now protected by a solid dike. It cost around 5 million euros to build. But in Bagni, all residents can do is watch as the water devours their coast. Rising slowly but surely.
We take our second break now. Don't go away. Welcome back. And before we take leave of you, a recap of the day's main stories. A senior World Bank official have briefed the Vice President about the operational modalities of implementing a multi-million-dollar maternal and child nutrition and health result project, a major boost for the health and environment sectors, as fresh batch of Peace Corps volunteers are preparing to use their skills to develop the country. Harvesting at President Jammeh's Vision 2016 fields in Pacha has attracted volunteers from near and neighboring villages in Casamas. And counting the cost of climate change and depleted beaches, Senegal's coastal villages are feeling the decline in tourist arrivals. Well, viewers, that was all in this edition of the News at 10. From me, WINIFRED, NICOL, and the entire news team, thanks for being there. Enjoy the rest of our programs.